Could I interject? Could I ask a question just briefly?
Sure.
Do we have time for a really quick question?
Oh, yes, yes.
I think it's really key what they stated about being in the now and what their guidance is about being in the now, and that really is the portal, the point of transcendence. And I'd like to ask them to give our listeners an idea for practical application as we are, straddling 3D reality as well as our divine identities, opening to that. What is your advice to our listeners about how they can be in the now, quieting the mind and so forth? What do we have to know about that, please?
Well, I would say, and I'm sure David will answer as well, but first things people have to do, yes, they have to learn to retrain their mind if they're not used to having a quiet mind. Some people prefer meditation as a means. I know there are people who prefer yoga as a means to quiet their mind, but they'll be able to tell how well they're doing with a simple little test that they can give themselves. Now, as simple as this is, it's going to be the hardest thing they've ever had to do as a preface to being able to do that. So the first thing they have to do is just quiet their mind, take a deep breath, exhale it, and focus on one simple image for 1 minute. The concentration. Yes,
I know exactly what you're saying, because it's really hard for your mind not to drift even if you're just trying to hold that one image. Yes, you're right. That is simple and really hard.
So you're just telling us that it's about discipline and devotion.
It is.
Yes.
And
developing
and
a practice and sticking to it, right?
Right. It's another form of personal responsibility.
Yes. Okay.
I would like to add in the fact, Celeste was earlier mentioning mind noise. Some people call it mind chatter, where the mind just keeps going and going and going and going. I would like to make a statement. I don't want to tell you what it means. I want the listeners to figure it out for themselves, and that is that by doing nothing, you are doing everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
And that is a whole new way of thinking. Now, we all ought to contemplate that, because that is an absolute reversal of everything we've been taught. And in today's world, where distraction is key, and every force and mechanism is used that is possible to keep us away from our center, and because that keeps us asleep, that is the one thing that we all need to think about. Now, why don't you say that one more time?
Okay.
Doing nothing is doing everything.
By doing nothing, you are doing everything.
That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to get out of here now, Ariel. Thank you so much. That was excellent. I think that's a real treasure for everyone to think about. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
So I have to ask you, David. So if by doing nothing you're doing everything, then if you're doing anything, are you doing nothing?
If you're doing anything, you're doing something.
Well, it was kind of a play on words. So, in other words, if you think you're doing something, you're really not doing anything. But if you're doing nothing, then you're doing everything.
You can have things happen by not having to do them. Everything is born in your soul and in your mind, in a healthy person, one who has a healthy psyche, I mean.
Uh-huh.
The soul and the mind are in perfect alignment. So what you think, you create. You don't have to take great, big, gigantic steps to make something happen, but you can think it into creation.
Oh, amen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I am all over that. And yes. You can create with a thought, in a matter of seconds, what it would take you months to do. And you just using that great creative force that we all have, that spark of the Creator inside of us. We can create our universe, if not like he did, but we can create our own and make it as wonderful as we desire. So we have a couple more callers with questions. So let's move on now. We have Sandra, and I'm going to open up your mic here in just a second. Here, Sandra. Wait, give me a minute. Okay, Sandra, you're on the air with David and Celeste.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I have a question. How can you tell whether you have a walk-in or not? Is there any way that you can tell?
You mean if you yourself are walking? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, there are many anomalies that all walk-ins experience. One is, even if you're with someone you dearly love, in this case who happens to be a walk-in as well, but there is a feeling of such a strangeness, or high strangeness, in fact, that you're not readily accepted by ordinary people. I'm not speaking of Starseed, but not accepted by ordinary people. All right? You'll find that the physical vehicle, your body, seems like sometimes you want to feel like it's too much constraint. You shouldn't have any kind of physical body to hold you down. You should be able to just lift off wherever you want to. There is an aloneness that never quite goes away. Never quite goes away. Now, I'm speaking about walk-ins who have not awakened, who do not know who they are. Walk-ins who have awakened, they're already aware of all these things. The body changes are extreme. Appetites change when a walk-in discovers who he is, or who she is in this case. There's a need for extremely spicy type of food seems to be a commonality from, I'd say, for about 90% of walk-ins. It's the walk-ins who don't know who they are. Those are the ones that have the greatest problem, because sometimes they think there's something wrong with them because they're not like other people. Well, no, they're not like other people, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It's your sense of feeling, how you react to looking up at the stars. Can you hear the stars speak to you? Can you feel a connection that defies any logical explanation? Walk-ins are generally in contact with either consciously or superconsciously, and most of the evolved ones, it's both, but they are in contact with all off-world beings, their mentors, their spirit guides, and God himself will address a walk-in. I've seen that happen with many people, and just say, yes, you are correct. You are a walk-in. Now get over it and get on with your life. Yeah. So there are many sides.
It was years ago at one time, I was asleep, and there was a big, bright light just came, and it was huge. And it came in the side of me and lifted me off the bed, and I woke up burning and hurting. Until the day, I cannot say what it was. No one could tell me what it was.
I have seen that happen to people. I have known people who have gone through that.
And God has come to me personally in just the manner you just described. So I can relate to that.
No one could ever explain that to me. I asked people, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like it wasn't a dream.
No. It wasn't a dream. You're not crazy. You're not hanging off the lunatic fringe. It's nothing like that. All right? Rest assured about that. That is nothing to do with it. Yes, that light is known to come a lot. And it's coming more, I've noticed, with people, David, the last 4 to 6 years in particular, that light seems to be coming in a lot. But it's not a destructive light. It's almost like somebody could turn up a spotlight on in your face to shake you awake a little bit, but not to hurt you.
Okay. All right.
So, can I interject here, Celeste and David? Are you thinking that this is more of an activational contact kind of thing, rather than the arrival of a walk-in?
Yes, absolutely.
The walk-in already being there, but the activation process still needs to take place.
Okay, so
some activations could be very subtle. Some can hit you like a jolt of energy, a jolt like have an electrical blast to you. People are awoken just by mere presence.
It comes in different forms.
It does. Ever since I was very young, well, up until before I actually awoke to who I was, every time I would say my good night at night before I'd go to sleep, I always saw a light. And I explained that to a person who was, I guess I would call him religiously devout, and he looked at me in shock and amazement because obviously I never went to church or anything. But he said people wait their whole lives to see that. You see that every night? He was looking at me like he just couldn't understand it, but it's true. The connection's always there.
Mhm. Wow. So, Sandra, I would just tell you to stand in your own truth and stand in your own light, and know that if this process has started, that you do have a team that is assigned to you, so that you don't have to figure it out by yourself. And this is part of a natural thing if it is a walk-in that is yet to be activated. And it's I think I've heard similar stories of the light coming to people when it wasn't necessarily the arrival of a walk-in, but rather with another purpose. So do you think that could also be the case, David and Celeste?
It could be, but it feels to me, from what I'm watching, that was intentionally for her and about her, and rather than for another person. That does not mean she will not attract others who are like her, though. That happens very easily.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that most walk-in exchanges happen at points of near-death experiences. So I don't feel that was a walk-in exchange that she was going into.
No, she wasn't going into it, but it's coming.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, I guess due to electromagnetic radiation disturbances, that call has been dropped, and I'm sorry, Sandra, I know you're probably still listening, but I think that your question's been answered, and we do thank you for calling, and I imagine she may call back in, but we do have a lot of calls on the switchboard right now. David and Celeste, I just want to tell you that I think you're helping a lot of people here tonight, and all the people that will be listening in the archives. We only have 15 minutes left, and we have maybe more callers than we're going to have time to get to, but let's just go and tell everybody ahead of time, please keep your questions brief and your comments brief so that maybe we can get to more people. So we are going next to our dear friend Joseph. You're on the air, sweetie.
Thank you very much, Ariel, and I really will keep this brief. I just found out today that David and Celeste are going to be here in my hometown in August participating in a conference. So we'll have most of our conversation while they're here, and then that will be great fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm really looking forward. And I will tell you that when Lavandar did my chart and I told her where I lived, and she said, that's where the ship that she is part of hangs out right over this town. So I think you're gonna be really comfortable when you get here. The other thing I just discovered, I want to say when Celeste began speaking, I thought that is such a different experience than I had when I had my walk-in. And I began to question myself. I knew she was absolutely in her truth, and I thought, did I make this up? And then David came on, and I went, nope, I'm with him. I had my walk-in. When I was 12 years old, and there was a lot that led up to it. When I was 7 years old, my mother and I were in Chicago, and we were watching a newsreel, and they showed the first atomic explosions in White Sands, New Mexico. And I froze because I knew what it was, and I knew how dangerous it was. And my mother reached over and patted my leg, and she said, that's okay, honey, that's going to let Daddy come home. And my response was, then Daddy doesn't have to come home.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I knew what I had seen. I had recognized it from being in other dimensions. This is very exciting, just being over the phone with you guys. I can't wait to be in your presence. I think I'm just going to let this be it for now, and I will see you in August. I have great, it's beyond expectations. It's just wonderful joy and hope at seeing you, and because I very seldom get to be with other walk-ins, and this is going to be just a big party, I can tell already.
Looking forward to it, Joseph. We'll see you there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and you're with some of the most beautiful people on the planet, but I'm sure you know that, these women that run this show, they're just my dearest friends, so here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much love to you all.
Thank you so much, Joseph, and I can see you crossing the days off one by one until August.
Oh, you betcha, sweetheart.
Okay. Thank
Bye
you
for
so
now.
much, sweetie. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Well, that's great. You're going to be in Josephstown, so you'll get a chance to meet, and that'll be wonderful. So we have another caller now. We are going to be talking to Lori. Hello, Lori.
Hello,
You're
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, wonderful. This is a great show. I came in a little late, so I hope I'm not asking something that maybe somebody else asked. But when I hear Celeste and David talk about God, I'm like, I'm wondering, where is the love? I mean, when I think of God, I think of a very loving being, and I'm not quite sure I'm getting that message, and I wanted them to elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh, God is unconditional love. He is the most brilliant love you can imagine. He can be stern at times when he feels he needs to. He has the most joyous, most hilarious sense of humor. He knows how important humor is, and he uses it every chance he gets. He's amazing. God truly is, and I don't mean this as a play on words. God truly is all that is.
Wonderful.
Now, you may have misunderstood something. No. God is love. He is not some flaming sword ready to smote people. That is a lot of rubbish. And he does not have anyone's interest at heart unless they're the best interest in the world. He is saddened by some of the things he sees, but he has to deal with them because he's God. And he's struggling to try to get everybody to achieve their own individual momentum by being all they can be. You see, you and every person on this planet, I don't care what all trouble they get themselves in, are a physical manifestation of God. What you do with it is another story.
Wonderful. Well, that definitely makes me feel a lot better, because at first I was like, I can't remember what you said exactly, but it was like, wake up and get over it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure that's the God I know.
Oh, no, that was about something else.
Right, yeah, that was about the walk-in transition. Yeah, and I know what you mean, Lori, and Celeste as well, because God loves us, or the God of this universe loves us so much that He gave us free will. And then when we turn around and make really bad mistakes, it's got to be painful, just like a parent who lets a child make their own decision and they choose the wrong thing, but you love them enough to let them fall down so they can learn, and I mean, but in the great scheme, wouldn't you agree, Celeste, that we will be protected from ourselves in the very, if in the very worst scenario, we will be protected, but from the little stuff, it's okay to skin your knee if it teaches you something.
Yes, just remember one thing. When it comes to God and how people go, they run amok sometimes and repetitively commit the same horrible acts against other people. They're also doing it against themselves, and they don't even realize it. Yes, God will help. We all have the tools to help ourselves. Humans, everybody, will be all right as long as they know how to survive their own actions. But don't forget, God will not put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Right.
Well, we also probably need to think about God as an emanation of love, and that love is the creative force that brings all things into being. So we can't have a creation without having love. It is the one thing that endures and is everlasting.
Well said, Anastasia.
That's very true. Very, very true.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you
Lori,
so
I
much.
hope that answers
Appreciate
your
it.
question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Celeste and David.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll get off and let someone else get on. Thanks a lot, Ariel and Anastasia. Bye.
Thank you, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we just have a few minutes left, and we're going to take just one more call. And before I pick up on the line, I do want to thank you, David and Celeste, and Lavandar and Anastasia, Sahar, Rose, and Sierra. I know that you somehow your phone must not be working because you didn't get back on. But I want to thank you all so much for coming together this evening and sharing the way you have shared. And I know that it's going to be helping a lot of people. I want to encourage everyone to visit their website, which is awakenedhearts.com and bluestarspeaks.com. And the books are the God series, The Journey, Beyond the Journey. And please do visit their website. And we're going to take another question and then be signing off. So right now we are going to talk, and I'm going to tell you, sweetie, before I pick up your microphone, that we've only got 3 minutes. So, Belva, you're on the air.
Hi, darling. How are you?
What
a wonderful show. I just called to tell you it was great.
Well, thank you so much, and it's good to hear your voice. You sound good.
And my big lesson in this life has been, I'm not a victim. I have no problems. Everything is just a lesson. It makes me grow, and it brings me new understanding. So I'm with them. Everything they said, I'm with them.
Well, that's great. And just David and Celeste, Belva is one of our team members. She is our expert on natural healing. So, Belva, it's great to have you come on here right at the very end and meet David and Celeste.
I'm glad. I'm so glad that I was able to be here this week.
That's good.
We're glad you're here, too.
Yes.
Okay, Belva, thank you so much, and we will be talking to you soon. I'm going to say goodbye now, and we'll be signing off. So, Belva, thank you so much.
And thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, sweetie.
Bye.
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 Okay. Well, everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. We're here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also have a support forum, as I said earlier, for Starseed. So you can help teach, learn, or whatever level you're at. You can find others just like you right there on the forum. So please take advantage of that. David and Celeste, thank you so much for being on the planet. Thank you for the work that you've done. And I really encourage everyone to visit your websites and find out more about the wonderful work that you're doing on the planet for the people.
Thank you for having us on.
And thank you for having us. And one last thought for all of you. Just enjoy life and be all that you can be and always stand in truth.
Well said, and that is a really good point to say good night all. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Starseed Radio Academy. Visit our website at www.starseedhotline.com.